Hello everyone, welcome to aArambh, the first step towards your coding career. So in this video, we will cover loops for while and do while, and we will also cover break and continue. So then in the next video, we'll do some coding programs on all the topics that we have learned so far. So without any further ado, I am switching my screen to the IDE. So I have created a class with the name loops here. In loops, what I will do, as usual, we need a main method. So we will talk about loops, that is for, while, do while, break, and continue in this video. So let's come to the topic of loops. Why loops are actually required? When we want to execute some operation, which is a repeated operation, in that case, loops will come to our rescue. For example, I want to print sysout, I want to print first five numbers. I'll say sysout of 1. Then I'll say sysout of 2. Similarly, let me give till five numbers, first five numbers. Okay, I'll run the program now. So on the console, as expected, what we will see is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to be printed on the console. So Java is executing. We come to the console and we see that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 are printed on the console. Here, what we can notice is the same operation of sysout is continued for 5 times. So in that case, instead of writing the same code again and again, we can go for a loop. So how we will do this is, first we will, let me comment out this part of the code. Okay, let me make some room for the program. So we will go for a loop. The loop that we are going to use initially is a for loop. Okay. For, we need to first initialize a variable. Okay, from where we want to start. So whenever we want to initialize a variable, we will define the data type and the name of the variable. Data type is int, name of the variable is I. For int I equal to 1, I just initialized it. This is a statement. So I end with a semicolon. And I want to give a conditional statement here. As long as I is less than or equal to 5, that is, I will hold the values of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. As long it is less than or equal to 5, what I want to do is, I'm telling increment I. We seen this one also, I plus plus. I plus plus means I equal to I plus 1. In one step, I will be 1. In the second step, I equal to I plus 1. That will, let's say, initially I equal to 1. In the second step, I plus plus is nothing but I equal to I plus 1. In the next step, I equal to 1 plus 1. I will become 2. In the next step, I equal to 2 plus 1. Then I equal to 3. This will go on continuously happening till this condition I less than or equal to 5. For 3 less than or equal to 5, it is true. Then we will continue with the execution. 4 less than or equal to 5, it is true. We will continue with the execution. Then let's say 5 less than or equal to 5 is also true. We will continue with the execution. Then 6 less than or equal to 5 is actually false. Then we will come out from the loop. So let's write the code block execution of the loop. It says sysout of I is what I am printing. Let's run the program and try to understand how it is behaving. So the program is getting executed. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Here what happened is, initially when we come to the control, initially I value is equal to 1. It is initialized. Then the condition checking happens. Is 1 less than or equal to 5? That is true. Then this block will be executed. Whatever is inside this block, that will be executed. So sys out of I is 1 is printed on the console. Then what happens is this statement get executed. I equal to I plus 1. I equal to I plus 1. That is in I, what is the value? Currently I plus 1. So that will become I equal to 2. Then we will come to this statement. I less than or equal to 5. Now the I value is not 1 anymore. It is 2 less than or equal to 5. If this is true, so we will execute this block once again. So when we execute this block once again, 2 is printed. Then I equal to I plus 1. I equal to, now I value is 2, 2 plus 1. That means now I equal to 3. Then again we'll come to this conditional checking. So similarly, this happens still like I told here, as long as 3 less than or equal to 5, 4 less than or equal to 5, and I value is 5 and 5 is less than or equal to 5, we will print 5 on the screen. After that, I will become I plus 1, that is I equal to 5 plus 1, 6. When the value is 6, 6 less than or equal to 5, and which is false, at that time we will not execute this block. We will end the program. So that's why we are getting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 printed on the screen. Initially, it might feel a little bit overwhelming or a little bit confusing, but the more programs we write, we will get used to the loops concept. Let me comment out this code and write another program. For int I equal to 1, as long as I is less than or equal to 10, what I want to do is this time I want to increment I with 2. I equal to I plus 2. Now let's see what happens. Let's out of I. So here what we will do is we'll try to understand the output before we actually execute it. Initially I value is 1, 1 less than or equal to 10. This is true. So what we will do is we'll come inside the loop and we will try to print 1. Then we say I equal to I plus 2. I equal to 1 plus 2. That means I equal to 3 this time. And 3 less than or equal to 10 is what we are checking, which is true. Then we'll come inside the loop and we'll print 3. And then I value becomes 3 plus 2, that is 5. So what we are doing is we are printing 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. So when 9 less than or equal to 10, we will print 9 here. Next, I equal to I plus 2. 9 plus 2, I becomes 11. When it has become 11, we are checking 11 less than or equal to 10. 11 less than or equal to 10 is false, right? So we will not come into the loop and we will execute at the point when I value is 11. So we are printing values 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. So let me run the program and see. So we are printing 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. Same thing, we can also print even numbers. When we want to print even numbers, what we will do is same program. I want to print, let's say, from 0, or let's say I want to print from 2. Initially, I'll initialize with 2. I equal to 2. I less than or equal to 10. I equal to I plus 2. S out of 2. Sorry, S out of I. Whatever value is there inside I. So initially we will print 2. In the next iteration, 2 less than or equal to 10, true will come here. And no, first iteration will print 2, then 2 becomes 4. 4 less than or equal to 10, true will print 4. Similar way, 6, 8, and 10 we will print. And next, I value becomes 12. Then we'll check 12 less than or equal to 10, which is false. So we will not execute that statement. And this is printed on different lines because we have system.out.println. So let me show that difference also. If we want to print on the same line, what should we do? So we got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 on different lines. Same program, if instead of giving a print ln, if I just give system.out.print and I say, okay, I'll just print like this. Let's see what happens. When I printed this, we got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, but there is no space between. We wanted to have a space. I say I plus a space. Then I'll run my program. So we got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. First 2 is printed and a space is appended, which we have given in the code here. This is the space. I want to print the number and a space. Print the number and a space. Like this, we're getting 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. This is how a for loop executes. Now we will see how a while loop works. Okay, how a while loop works. So what I will do is while. See, what we want to do is in a for loop, what are all the statements that were executed? First is initialization. Next is condition checking. Next is uh, increment, or we can also decrement actually. This we will see an example. Let me do this right away. With decrement, we will do. Let's say for int I equal to 10 is what I gave. As long as I is greater than or equal to 0, I say I equal to I minus 2. This time I am decrementing the value. I'll print the value of I. So take a minute and try to think what will be the output. Meanwhile, I will also try to explain. So initially here I'll say print I plus space. So initially I value is 10. Then we check the condition 10 greater than or equal to 0. It is true. So 10 is printed and space is given. Then I is decremented to 8. I equal to I minus 2. 10 minus 2, 8. Then we'll come to the condition checking 8 greater than or equal to 0. Yes, it is true. Then we'll print 8 and space. Similarly, next time we'll print 6 and space. We'll print 4 and space. We'll print 2 and space. Then 2 greater than or equal to 0 is true. Then we'll come to I 2 becomes 0. So is 0 greater than or equal to 0? True. We'll print that statement. Next we'll come to minus 2. Is minus 2 greater than or equal to 0? Is false. That's where we exit the block. Let me try to run this program. You see 10, 8, 6, 4, 2, 0 is printed onto the console. Here there will be a space printed, but we can't actually make a difference out of it. When we go with patterns and all, I will explain how we can understand that difference also. So now coming back this to this statement in a loop, let it be a for loop, while loop, or a do while loop. In a loop, what are all the steps that we are doing? In a loop, what are all the steps that we are doing? First is initialization that happens here. We give a data type, a variable, and we initialize the variable to a value. Then we do condition checking, like in conditional statements we learned, right? This is where it is used. This is a use case of conditional statements. As long as the conditional statement is true or false, based upon the outcome, we will execute this block or do not execute this block. Then what we will do is increment or decrement. This is used to make the loop go for next step. So either we'll say increment it or decrement it. There is other ways also we can do this. While we'll be practicing some coding programs, I will show you it's not just always plus or minus. We can also use a modulo operator, a division operator, any operation that we can perform to manipulate the value of I. I value has to change. It will change, then we'll do a condition checking. This point you'll understand when we are now dealing with while statement. Okay, let me comment out this part. And okay, now we are in the while loop. Initially, what we are doing, initializing, same thing, int I equal to 1, let's say. Then in a for loop, we gave it all in one line. In while loop, we'll give the condition checking. While I is less than or equal to 5, let's say. This block, either you execute or not execute based upon the condition checking. So what I want to do here is sys out um, I. Then increment or decrement should happen. I plus plus. Now you might get a doubt why I plus plus should be inside the while loop block, that is this block only. Why can't it be outside? We will see what happens if it is outside. We'll try to run the program and see the output, then we'll come to understand the execution of it. So we just printed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 like in the first program that we have did for the for loop. We'll understand this, how it is executing. Initially, I value was 1. Okay. Then we did the condition checking. Is 1 less than or equal to 5? It is true. Then we came here. We just printed 1. Then what we did was I equal to I plus 1, 1 plus 1. That means I is now 2. Then the control will go here again to the condition checking. Then we will try to check 2 less than or equal to 5. It is true. Then we print 2. We are printing on the next line, but just for sake of convenience, I'm writing it here. 2. And again, this value will become 3 this time. I equal to I plus 1. The same fashion, we'll check the condition again here and we'll start printing 3, let's say 4, and let's say 5. When we are at 5, I mean, when the value here is 5, we'll come to the checking of the condition 5 less than or equal to 5 is true. When 5 less than or equal to 5, we are printing 5. Then I becomes 5 plus 1, that is 6. At that point, we will check 6 less than or equal to 5. 6 less than or equal to 5 is false. So we no longer come inside of this block and print 6 here. We exit from the block. This is how the execution is happening. Now, let's say I'll put this statement, or let's say, for example, I'll not give this statement. What will happen? And we'll try to run the program. So if you see, 1 is continuously being printed till when I stop the execution of the program, till when it will be printed unless we'll get some memory out of memory exception or an error. The entire memory of the JVM is consumed. We'll talk about JVM, JVRE, and JDK later on in sessions. But then when the memory is full, then the program stops, but I manually stopped here. So what happened is I equal to 1 here. What we checked is 1 less than or equal to 5. That is true. We printed 1. Then there is no increment statement. Then it will go to conditional checking once again. Again, it is checking 1 less than or equal to 5. Then we printed once again. Then again, it's checking 1 less than or equal to 5. So this condition is always true, right? 1 is always less than or equal to true. So we keep on printing 1 here endlessly. That's why here the increment or decrement, like we have in a for loop, increment or decrement statement is very important. So let's say if I give this increment or decrement statement outside the while block, still we will see a same execution. If you see, if you give I here, the value at I plus plus is never used. I is defined here. Here we are doing a I equal to I plus 1. But in the loop, we are not incrementing or decrementing. So there is no use of giving I plus plus outside of the loop. So every time in while loop, we have to remember and give the increment or decrement or whatever operation that we want to perform on the variable that is instantiated, that is I in this case, inside the loop. So let's take one more decrement example with while. Let me comment out this part. Int I equal to 10 while I greater than or equal to 0. S out. Let me drag this up. Then I'll say I equal to I minus 2. Let's try to understand and think what the output might be. So I initially is 10, 10 greater than or equal to 0. First, for sure, we are printing 10. Next, I becomes 10 minus 2, 8. 8 is greater than or equal to 0. Then I'll do one thing. I'll say plus I plus space. Here we are printing 8. So in a similar fashion, we'll print 6, 4, 2. Now we'll get the doubt. When will it stop? When it is 2, 2 greater than or equal to 0, we print 2. In this case, 2 minus 2, it's 0. We come here. 0 greater than or equal to 0 is also true. So we print 0 here. In the next case, it becomes minus 2. Minus 2 greater than or equal to 0 is false. So we'll come out of this loop here. So 10 space is given here extra. So 10, 8, 4, 6, 2, 0 will be printed on the screen. See, 10, 8, 6, 4, 2, 0 is printed on the screen. This is how a while loop works. Then we will come to a do while loop. While and do while are mostly similar except for one statement. Later on, we'll understand while we are working with programs on patterns and etc., where a do while loop is especially used. But for now, whenever you have to prefer loops, first option would be going for a for loop. There are certain scenarios where you will clearly know we have to use a while loop. And there are certain scenarios, mostly we'll use while loop or for loop, but sometimes we'll go for do while loop. This differentiation and clarification you will get when you work with more and more programs. But initially, we'll try to understand what a do while loop works and what's the difference between a while loop and a do while loop. So int I equal to 1. Say what I will do is do initially I am executing do print this statement, and here you see there is a compilation kind of error because we are telling do, and do will always go with this while statement. While I less than or equal to 5, let's say. While I less than or equal to 5. Then what we have to do is increment or decrement statement. Okay, let's try to run this and see what happens. This is always true. So what we are doing is first we are trying to asking the Java IDE to print 1. It will print 1. Then it will check 1 less than or equal to 5 true. Then it will again print 1. Then this thing always 1 is always less than or equal to 5. We'll keep on getting 1 here. See, we are keep on getting 1 here. I have to stop manually, forcefully to stop the program. So increment and decrement statement is important here also. There are two places where you can give an increment or decrement. Either you can give an increment or decrement statement here, or you can give it below this line also. I'll show that in the next program. So let's try to run this. So as expected, what we should get is 1. Okay, here you see 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 is printed. So now you will see the differentiation between while loop and do while loop. Initially I equal to 1. Here what I did is I equal to I plus 1. I became 2. So I printed 2. Then I checked for the condition 2 less than or equal to 5. It is true. Then I came here. I became 3 this time and I printed 3 and 3 less than or equal to 5. Like that, I will check, let's say 2, 3, 4, 5. So I am on this statement, let's say 5 less than or equal to 5. I have come here and this value has become 6 now. And we are printing 6. After printing 6, we are checking for this condition 6 less than or equal to 5. That is false. Then we will come out of the loop. That's why we got 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Previously, in a similar execution for while loop, we get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So here we got 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Because it's system.print ln, we got it on a new line. If I say the same thing with a space here, I'll get it on the same line. Okay. Now let's say same program. What I will do is I'll remove this here and I'll keep it here. Before running the program, we'll try to understand the execution. So initially, I value is 1. Initially, I value is 1. We come here. I am removing all this part. We print 1 here. Then I plus plus. Now I is 2. We check 2 less than or equal to 5. We check 2 less than or equal to 5. It is true. So now I come here and I print 2. Then I becomes 3. Then I check 3 less than or equal to 5. 3 less than or equal to 5. That is true. I print 3 here. Now I becomes 4. 4 less than or equal to 5 is true. I print 4 here. Now I becomes 5. 5 less than or equal to 5. 5 less than or equal to 5 is true. So I print 5 here. Now I become 6. Now the statement is 6 less than or equal to 5, which is false. So I come out of the loop. And now I print 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So before running the program, we try to check the output and let's see if we are right or our understanding is wrong. So our understanding is right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is printed. This is the difference between a while loop and a do while loop. Let me take one more example with the okay. We took a decrement example. We took a increment example. We took a iteration, increment or decrement before executing the statement. That is, here we do the execution of the statement before executing the statement, before this and after this also. So we are good to go. We have covered this thing, while and while loop. Now what we will do is we will try to understand break and continue. These are simple, but we'll try to understand. I'm taking a for loop. For int, let me scroll this up. For int I equal to 1, I less than or equal to 5, I plus plus. So every time when we come to a loop, first thing what we will try to do is for what values of I the iteration happens, we'll try to understand. For 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 less than or equal to 5, true. After that, we get 6 less than or equal to 5 is false. So for values of I, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that is 5 times for values of I, the loop is executed. So I'll say S out of I. This is a normal loop which will print 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Here now I'll insert a condition. Here I'll insert a condition. If I equal to, double equal to means comparison operator, single equal to means assignment operator. Here we want to do a comparison. If I equal to 3, I want to say break. So if I equal to 3, I want to say break. That means if I equal to 1 is false, so we'll print. Let's see what happens, then we'll try to understand. So here we see 1 and 2 are printed. When I value was 3, we came out of the loop. That is, when I equal to 1, we're checking 1 is equal to 3. We're checking is 1 equal to 3. According to the truth table, is 1 equal to 3? False. Because it is false, we are not going into this block. We directly come here and we'll print 1. That's done. Second statement, when we come here, we'll check 2 equal to 3. Again, it's false. So we'll come here and we'll print 2. Next time we will check if 3 equal to 3. This is true. When 3 equal to 3, we'll come inside this block. Here it says break. When we say break, we are actually exiting the program. When we see break, like in switch case also, as soon as I see a break, I will exit the program. So I'll exit the program and 1 and 2 are printed on the console. That's what we saw here, right? 1 and 2 are printed on the console. Same thing, let's say we'll try to give I equal to 4. This time, what I will do is I'll cut this and I'll put it here. And I'll try to understand what is going to happen. The values that we are going to execute are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. First one is printed. Okay. We are checking 1 is equal to 4. It's false. So we're not going into the loop. We are not going inside this block. Then we come for 2 value. We print 2. 2 equal to 4 is again false. We don't go inside here. Then we come here, we come for value 3, we print that. We say 3 is equal to 4, which is again false. Then we don't come inside here, we come here, where we at the value 4, we print 4 here, and we are trying to check 4 is equal to 4. We're trying to check 4 is equal to 4, which is true. When it is true, we come inside this block, we see break, we come out. So we don't even come for the value 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4 should be printed on the console. Let's see whatever we have did, is it right or wrong? So 1, 2, 3, 4 are printed on the console. They're on different lines because we have used system.out.println. If we use this system.out.print and append a space, we'll get like this 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is how a break statement works. So let me comment out this part and let's come to continue. Let's come to continue. So we are dealing with continue here. For int I equal to 1, I less than or equal to 5, I plus plus. If I equal to 3, I say continue. S out of I. So break will exit from the program operation execution itself. Continue will just skip one iteration. When you say continue, if I equal to 3, it's like you just continue, don't do anything. Just skip this iteration. So what we will do is here, I value is 1. 1 is 1 equal to 3 is false, right? So we are not even coming inside this block. We'll come here, we'll print 1. Then we have come here. Now I value is 2. We'll check 2 equal to 3. Again, it's false. We are not coming inside this block. We'll print 2 here. Then again, we go for 3. Now let's observe carefully. Okay. If 3 is equal to 3, which is true. So when it is true, we come inside this block. It says continue. We're not doing anything. We just skip this statement. So when we skip this iteration, we are skipping this iteration, only this iteration, this part, this iteration we are skipping. Then we will come here and we will come to 4. 4 equal to 4, again it's 4 equal to 3, it's false. So we'll come here and we'll print 4 this time. Similarly, we'll print 5. We'll skip one iteration only. Let's see how this looks when we try to run. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Third iteration when I equal to 3 is skipped because if I equal to 3, we said continue. This is how a continue statement works. This is the difference between break and continue. So we have looked at for loop, while loop, do while loop, the differences, and break and continue. This is all I want to cover in this session. In the next session, we will cover some programs, pattern programs in the next session. Thank you very much for watching this video and welcome to aArambh, the first step towards your coding career. All the best for your future.